Welcome to Stardom Stories. We're thrilled to have you with us on this exciting journey of storytelling. If you enjoy captivating tales filled with innovation, adventure, and inspiring characters, make sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a story. Don't forget to like, share, and comment your thoughts below. Let's dive into the magic of storytelling together. On a cold winter day in New York, the sky was pouring rain, and the streets were almost empty except for the few passing cars. Elon Musk, the billionaire known for his unconventional innovations, decided to step away from the hustle and bustle of meetings and pressures. He felt somewhat frustrated after a long day discussing his new project on alternative energy sources. He entered a small restaurant on the outskirts of the city. The place was filled with the warmth of yellow lights and the scent of hot soup, with soft jazz music playing in the background. He sat in a corner, observing the place with tired eyes, placing his notebook on the table. Michael, the young waiter who had been working at the restaurant for years, approached with a spontaneous smile and said, "Good evening, Mr. Musk. It's an honor to have you here. Do you have any special preferences for dinner?" Elon raised his eyes and looked at Michael with curiosity, then said, "Surprise me." Michael, who knew about Elon from the media, couldn't suppress his curiosity. After a few minutes of serving the order, he noticed Elon's notebook, which was filled with strange sketches and small handwritten notes. "Are you working on something big?" asked Michael, hesitantly but bold enough. Elon smiled and replied, "Always, but it seems I'm stuck." Michael, who had a sharp mind but was trapped in a job he wasn't passionate about, hesitated for a moment before saying, "Maybe you need a different perspective." Michael sat next to Elon, encouraged by the latter. After a few minutes of talking, Michael started to explain his idea, stumbling at first but gaining inner courage with Elon's encouraging words. "I've always thought of a small device that can convert daily movement into energy. Imagine walking to work or college, and every step you take generates electricity that's stored in a small battery." At first, Elon listened indifferently but then sat up and said, "Go on. This is interesting." Michael took a piece of paper and a pen and began drawing two simplified ideas. One for a device that attaches to shoes and another that can be attached to a backpack. The idea was simple yet brilliant, and feasible if the details were handled correctly. The idea here is to reduce dependence on traditional energy sources and turn people's daily movements into a free and sustainable energy source. Elon looked at the drawing for a few seconds before saying, "This isn't just a good idea, it's a game changer." The next day, Michael received a call from Elon's team at Tesla. They asked him to come to the company's headquarters to present his idea and discuss it further. When Michael arrived at Tesla's headquarters, he was in awe of the place. He was surrounded by dozens of engineers and scientists working in an environment filled with energy and innovation. After hours of presentations and discussions, the team decided to include Michael as a junior member of the project. The journey began, working on designing a device that could convert kinetic energy into electricity. They faced many technical challenges, such as making the device small enough to be comfortable and light, while also capable of storing enough energy to power everyday devices. Despite his lack of experience, Michael proved to be an essential partner. He had an innate ability to think outside the box and use his experience as a waiter to improve the designs of the device. "In my job, I always had to find ways to avoid mistakes. If there was a problem, I'd look for the simplest solution. I think that's what I'm doing here too." Title: The Waiter Who Changed the Game. After launching Power Move, the success wasn't just a media buzz. It changed the lives of millions around the world, especially in remote and poor communities suffering from electricity shortages. Children in these areas began using the device to power study lights at night, leading to a real transformation in education. At the same time, global companies started adopting the new technology. Tesla collaborated with clothing and footwear manufacturers to include kinetic energy units in their products. Smart backpacks and shoes became more widespread with new features added, such as activity tracking and user data analysis. Michael became the public face of the project. He spoke at global conferences about the importance of simple innovation that serves humanity, showcasing live demonstrations of how one idea can make a huge difference. As the device continued to succeed, Michael began thinking of other ideas inspired by his experience. He proposed a new project focused on converting wasted energy in public places, such as the motion of revolving doors in subways or pressure from floors in train stations, into electrical energy to light these facilities. Elon, impressed by Michael's fresh vision, supported him in forming a subsidiary team within Tesla to work on this idea. The project was named Urban Kinetics and revolutionized the design of smart city infrastructure. Despite the great success, Michael never forgot his roots. He remained humble and connected with his old friends and colleagues. He opened a special branch of his favorite restaurant where his journey began, calling it the First Step. It became a place where young, ambitious people could gather to discuss their ideas and projects. One day, while Michael was visiting the restaurant, a young child, seemingly about 10 years old, approached him and said, "Sir, can I show you something?" The child held in his hand scattered drawings resembling the early ideas of Michael. He dreamed of creating a device that could capture wind energy generated by moving cars on highways. Michael smiled and patted the child's shoulder, saying, "You're on the right path. Remember, sometimes chaos is the beginning of something great." The impact of Power Move extended beyond individuals to include governments and international organizations. The United Nations adopted the project as part of its initiatives to achieve sustainable development goals, and the devices were distributed in refugee camps and areas affected by natural disasters. During one of Michael's visits to those regions, he was deeply moved when he saw children using their devices to charge small lamps that allowed them to read at night. In an emotional moment, he said, "This is what innovation means. It's not just about money or fame, but the real impact we leave on other people's lives." In a private meeting between Michael and Elon, the latter began thinking about the next step. He said, "You've proven that simple ideas can make a massive transformation. What if we took this idea to the next level?" Elon proposed that Michael officially join Tesla's board of directors, becoming one of the company's creative leaders. Despite some hesitation at first, Michael agreed once he realized he could be the voice for ordinary people with great ideas. On a quiet evening, Michael sat in his favorite corner inside the restaurant where it all began. He held a cup of coffee and looked at his new notebook. He wrote on the first page, "The first step is not the end. It's the beginning of a long journey filled with creativity." As the rain fell outside the window, Michael raised his eyes and saw his reflection in the glass, smiling confidently. He knew his journey wasn't over yet, and the world was full of challenges waiting for someone to turn them into opportunities. End of part one, or perhaps a new beginning. 2 years of research and development later, Tesla launched a device called Power Move. The device was a small unit that could be attached to shoes or backpacks, converting kinetic energy into electricity stored in a built-in battery. The product was warmly received by the media and the public. People began using it in their daily lives, especially in areas facing electricity shortages. Michael, who started as a simple worker in a small restaurant, found himself on magazine covers as an innovator in the field. Power Move was not just a device. It became a symbol of the shift toward a more sustainable future. People began to realize that every simple movement could have a significant impact. Michael, now the manager of the Power Move project, decided to use his fame and success to support young talent. He established an innovation center called Step Toward the Future. This center welcomed simple, innovative ideas from ordinary people, just as Michael once was. On a winter night, after years of success, Michael returned to the same restaurant where his story began. He sat in the corner, contemplating the place with a smile. Suddenly, Elon Musk entered the restaurant and saw him sitting there. He approached and said, "Did you expect to return here?" Michael laughed and replied, "No, but I've learned that small steps are what take us to great places." They sat together, exchanging thoughts on the past, present, and future, while the sky rained once again, as if celebrating Michael's journey that began with a simple sentence and ended with changing the world.